Welcome back, Love Stylers. I'm Misty. Today we're going to be talking about the Lion Diet, which I tried for 14 days straight, and that's the most strict I've ever gone, even though I'm a carnivore and I eat on a 90% carnivore diet. And I love talking about the carnivore diet, the keto diet, a healthy lifestyle, because I found so much healing in the past few years of changing my life for the better, because I want to be around for a while. So healing naturally is what I'm interested in. So keep listening if you are too. I tried the Lion Diet for 14 days. It wasn't that easy, but it wasn't that hard. Today I'm going to give you the good, the bad, and the hungry about the Lion Diet, which is beef, lamb, and salt. And some people add bison as well, but it's a very strict Carnivore 2.0 diet. So the reason I even turned to a low-carb diet this late in life is because I was on medication for high blood pressure, and now I no longer need that. My blood pressure is normal. I lost 55 pounds, so that was a nice added bonus because I had gained a lot of weight very quickly in a year or two. And also, I stayed away from alcohol because I am an alcoholic, and I'm not afraid to admit that. But I know eating low carb and even more strict on a carnivore diet, 90% as I do, it's kept me away from those alcohol cravings and many other crappy food cravings. I must preface before you listen to this video that I drank coffee in the morning with a very little bit of heavy cream to cut that acidity, that bitter taste in the coffee. So I hope you still watch this video, and I hope you still count this as a Lion Diet, because for me it was very extreme and I'm very proud of myself. And the reason I wanted to do this, guys, is because I've never tried it. So why would somebody like me, who's 51 years old, just a regular older chick, be interested in going so extreme with my diet? Well, when we get older, it's harder to lose. I still have that gut in the front. We want to get rid of it. So trying something like this was a very good experience for myself. A lot of people talk about the muffin top. Well, I have a muffin middle. I won't even show it to you on camera. And wearing black is a secret that we all know that kind of works. You may have scale fear like I do. I did not weigh myself. I must tell you ahead of time, I do not have measurements and I do not have any weight numbers for you. I am terrified. I'm talking terrified to get on the scale. Well, Misty, I thought carnivore was like the answer to all of your weight problems. Well, I'm still afraid to get on the scale though, because there's a lot of shame. Even if I look skinnier in my clothes, if the number says the wrong number, I'm screwed for the day and I get pissed off. I figure just stay away from it altogether. You know what I mean? Now, what worked for us in our 20s and 30s does not work for us when we're older. We are coming upon a time where they like to use the M word. I hate the M word, menopause. I couldn't even say that word about a year ago, but I looked it up and I realized this is natural. This is what happens. This is part of life. Things change hormonally in a nutshell, and we have to address it differently. So that's why I tried the Lion Diet, because I'm terrified of the scale. I don't like to measure things. I get tripped up when it comes to numbers and restrictions. And there's a lot of reasons why I think we hold extra inflammation in our bodies as females. So if you're wondering why I would even try the Lion Diet, which is way more hard than a regular carnivore diet, is because I had a stomach ache one night. I had eaten pretty well that week, but I ate some dried fruits. And dried fruit, it can be addictive. I think I ate too much. It was pineapple. No sugar added. I figured it's fruit. So I had a little bit of a treat, and I do allow something once in a while to keep a good, healthy diet life balance for myself. So I ate too many of them. I had a bellyache. I said, you know what? My stomach looked like it was like twice as bloated, twice as popped out in the front as usual. I thought there was a baby inside there. So I said, tomorrow I'm going on the lion diet. I'm going to try it as long as I can. Side note, I've had 2 miscarriages in the past. I've had fibroids removed from my uterus. I know that's TMI. I hope you stick with me here. And I want to thank all my new subscribers for doing so. You're going to learn a lot if you stick with me this year about carnivore, keto, and a healthy lifestyle. But I feel like there's been trauma to the area where my fat wants to stick around. It just seems to be in that area, the lower gut. I've noticed a little bit of hot flashes when I'm trying to sleep, and some sleep disturbance happens when you're hot in the middle of the night and it's 67 degrees in your house. So that's one of the hormonal things that us older ladies are running into after a certain age. My mood was a little bit grouchier than it had been in years. And even Andrew said, well, Misty, you've been awfully moody lately. And I'm like, I'm a carnivore. We don't get moody. If you think that your hormones may be a little bit off, this is why a lot of people come to the carnivore diet, a keto diet, or even go hard like I did on the lion diet to see if we can fix this naturally. We don't want to have to turn to medication or HRT, hormonal therapy, and injecting things. If we can do it naturally, this is the better way, the healthier way, of course. So I usually eat once a day, and that's been for about 9 months or something like that. When I decided to go on the lion diet, on my very first day, I changed that. And I went from OMADs, which is 1 meal a day, to 2 meals a day, 2 MAD. So the whole time during these 14 days that I ate on the lion diet, I ate twice a day. There might have been one day that I accidentally skipped a meal because I didn't feel that hungry. But every other day, I ate twice a day. The first day before I began on the lion diet, I made a leg of lamb from Costco. I got a leg of lamb from Costco. I love the taste of lamb. And I figured, let me just cook this. I'll have meat for days. So this was a good tip. It was only, I think, $22. I might have the price wrong. It might have been $30. So I made a leg of lamb. I knew I would have meat if I was hungry. I could just grab that. Already cooked, it tastes delicious cold, loaded up with pink salt, and I would be good to go. So that did me well for the first 4 days. I bought some top rounds, and that was $22. That's the $22. And I made beef jerky because I figured if I get hungry and I'm at work and I don't have my leg of lamb handy, I'll just bring some beef jerky. And I even ate beef jerky for lunch. So if you make your own beef jerky, it stays good in the fridge for 2 to 3 weeks. So that was a great tip. My leg of lamb, I had my beef jerky. So if I was ever hungry, I could eat any of those too. Now, a few times, and I've done some posts, check out my Instagram if you want, on McDonald's burger patties. These saved my butt. Since I was eating lunch again, I would go to McDonald's and get 3 quarter-pounder patties, no cheese, and of course I would load it up with salt. This was only $4.92. Remember this is a huge tip. You can go to McDonald's, it's 100% beef, Dr. Berry approved, and order 3 a la carte quarter-pounder patties only with nothing on them. Make sure you put salt on them. You're going to need a lot of salt during these 14 days or however long you want to do the lion diet. I know this seems weird, but do yourself a favor. This is where I made a mistake. This is one of the mistakes I made on the lion diet. I forgot to bring my pink salt to work. 3 times I ate iodized salt. Now, there is sugar in the iodized salts that we eat, that we consume everywhere. If you turn over the package, there's dextrose in that salt. So even though people think the iodine is good, and it may be, there is dextrose mixed in. So that is one mistake that I made. Please do yourself a favor and bring pink salt with you wherever you go, even to a restaurant, even at work. It doesn't matter. Make sure you have your pink salt. I wished I had remembered to bring my pink salt, but I forgot it for a couple of days. I will tell you, out of the 14 days, the first few days were very, very similar, almost up to the first week. So I felt very extremely high in ketosis. I talk about being high in ketosis. And if you've ever experienced ketosis, say yay in the comments, because it is like a wonderful, elated feeling for some of us where we can tell we're in ketosis. I was in heavy ketosis and I had missed that feeling because when you do carnivore for a long time, I think it's harder and harder to get into heavy ketosis. But I think you lose the kind of feeling for it because you're in it so often. Well, this was heavy. This was like when I first got onto keto and you're first feeling this for the first time and you get immense focus. You feel just wonderful. I felt so great. And I said, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I could dial it in even more than I ever have and still experience this wonderful feeling. And that's where the ideas come to me. I talked about this on Adam's show, Carnivore Today. I'm going to link his show and our interview. I went on his show and it was a great interview, but we talked about being high in ketosis and being able to dial in your artistic endeavors even closer. Because I play music, guys. Listen to Black Eyed Soul. Go to blackeyedsoul.com. I'm a keyboard player. And I never even started writing songs until I got into heavy ketosis, when I began my journey with fasting and then into carnivore especially. So I really enjoy this part. This is one of the side benefits, just a bonus. And I get ideas from the universe, from God, and I have to write things down and keep a pen and paper on me for videos and such. So I love this part. This is the best part that makes you feel like your own superhero. So heavy ketosis for the first 4 days was lit. Now there were a couple days where I ate steak for dinner. Once I got past eating all the lamb that I ate for dinner for the first 4 to 6 days, I don't remember how many days, and the beef jerky was always there to help me in between, still wonderful. But when I got to about a week, I want to say, I started to get so used to that feeling that I think I underate just a little bit. So if you're trying the lion diet, come a little bit more prepared than I did. You know, have a few steaks around. Have some extra food around. So I think a couple of times I might have eaten 2 burger patties instead of 3, once or twice, and I felt just a little bit hungry. And I think I was under salted or maybe not as hydrated as I could have been. And by hydrated, I mean making sure you get in your electrolytes is the hardest part about doing either a carnivore diet, even a keto diet, or the lion diet. Sometimes you can feel just a little bit off when it comes to the water retention and the electrolyte balance in your body. So this is the hardest thing to dial in. When you're dieting, when you're going low carb, when you're going more extreme than usual, you don't really think about it ahead of time sometimes. So that pink salt is going to help you so much. Now, if I continue to do this past this 14 days that I have done, I think I'm going to use the electrolyte drops. Now, some people use the pouches. I recommend the unflavored Element electrolyte pouch, the powder, and put that in your water. But I've already ordered Keto Chow. What's up, Keto Chow? I support them. I like their videos and they make a great product. So I have mine on the way, and I am not going to continue with the lion diet, or I may switch off and do just a very, very strict carnivore diet from here on out until I get my electrolyte drops. And that will help quite a bit, I think, this time around with my electrolyte balance. And of course, you want to make sure you get the proper amount of water. And this is different for each of us. So knowing how much water to drink, you're going to have to use your intuition. I want to touch on digestion during this time was pretty good. I thought digestion was going to be a little tricky. before I even tried the Lion Diet. And I will tell you, there were 2 times where it was a little tricky and my stool was a little looser than usual. And I know that's because of my electrolyte imbalance. It was nothing severe. I didn't have to make a scene or anything like that. Luckily, I was home and it was just a little bit of a thing, but it wasn't a big deal at all. And I'm pretty sure it was either due to my under eating that day or within the 24-hour period, or my salt intake was not enough. Also, I do question if maybe my water intake was a little off. So these are all things that are individual to each of us, and I think you should try and experiment just a little bit with this, safely, of course. A couple of nights on the 2nd week, I tried eating steak a little bit more, which was fine. So I love a chuck eye, which is a poor man's ribeye. I have a trouble buying a $20 steak. I am so sorry, carnivores. Don't be mad at me. I know you love your ribeyes and you take pictures with ribeyes by your face like it's a person. That's not my style. I like a chuck eye. I think ribeyes are delicious. You will not see me posing with one, ever. And that's where I draw the line, posing with food like that. But I did try the chuck eye and it was very, very satiating. I do want to mention there may not have been enough fat in the steaks that I ate. The part that makes us feel full is the fat attached to the meat. So a lot of people are afraid of fat. If you have fat fear, not only on your body, but eating fat, a lot of people are afraid of it. So along with being afraid of salt, we have salt fear and we have fat fear. And when you come to carnivore, you learn that this is just a myth on both parts. But ribeyes are overrated in my opinion. I don't mind spending half the price. And to me, it tastes just as good. So there's fat content, high fat content in a ribeye or a chuck eye steak. So those are great tips if you want to get a good steak. Now, sirloin does not have a lot of fat on it. So people have to add butter to sirloin. And the same goes for a beef tenderloin or what's the name of that steak? Filet mignon, right? A filet mignon is the same thing. You may have to add butter so you feel full after. When I ate the chuck eyes the 2nd week, it did the trick. Now, I will give you a tip here. I definitely had to trim off some of the fat because I used my air fryer to cook steaks, which is wonderful. I hate standing over a hot stove, and I don't even think I cook steak that great anyway. The air fryer did the trick, but I did one little trick that Michaela Peterson talks about. Cutting off the fat into tiny pieces, putting it back in the air fryer while I was eating my steak, and it comes out like a very crunchy, very delicious bacon-ish / delicious beef little crispy thing. It's almost like a snack. So that was one way to feel more satiated, because sometimes if you don't cook the fat right on a steak, it's a little bit rubbery, and I don't care for that. So that's a good tip if you eat steak. Now, on that 2nd week, I was satiated most of the time. There were a couple moments where I felt just a little bit hungry, I'm not going to lie. So even though I was eating steak with a lot of fat in it, I was missing the butter and I was missing the cheese. And that's the difference from how I normally eat, is I add a lot of butter, I add a lot of cheese, and that's like the comfort food feeling in my belly that makes me feel even more full. It's definitely something that I was able to push through. I did use a little trick, and I made sure I drank a lot of seltzer water, which is supposedly still safe for us guys, with no sweetener and no funny stuff in it. It's just sparkling water. So I even think you could add a little lemon. And I'm going to try this next time, even though it's not part of the Lion Diet, to add a little squirt of lemon. I think it'll be okay. If that helps you, just give your tongue a little bit of taste, because sometimes when you feel unsatiated, I think it's your tongue that dictates that there's something missing, something that maybe the dairy provides that I can't really put into words. I will say there are no eggs on a lion diet. So the very last day, guys, of 14 days of doing just about 100% lion diet, because I drank coffee. So however you want to look at it, I still want to tell you about my experience. The very last day, I was on a little vacation out of town. We went hiking and we got free breakfast at the Holiday Inn Express. Big time here, right? I love the Holiday Inn Express. This is not a paid ad, but they have that breakfast in the morning. Now, I stayed away from the ends. The ends have junk food. One end is all cereal and juice. The other end is all pastries and pancakes and all of that junk. I went right for the middle. We had bacon, we had eggs. And so I had bacon and eggs, and there was a tiny bit of cheese on the very last day of my lion diet inside some of those little egg omelet things. So I allowed that, and I also allowed bacon on my last day, which is technically not part of the lion diet. So I hope that's okay with you guys, but I did very well. I was very proud of myself. I decided to eat breakfast that day. I haven't eaten breakfast in years for the most part, unless I'm on vacation. And it was free, so that was nice, but we were going on a very long hike. It was very enjoyable. And we were in the Cumberland Gap, where you can stand between 2 and 3 states at a time, Kentucky, Virginia, and Tennessee, and that was super fun. I got to tell you, though, it was hard getting up that hill. I thought I was in better shape than I was that day. I don't know if it was just so steep. I don't know if I just had been under eating for 2 weeks and the lion diet tapped me out just a bit. I can't say why, but I made it to the top, but I had to stop a bunch of times. In case you're wondering how different this was from my regular lifestyle of eating on a 90% carnivore diet, I will tell you it was very much different for me. Leaving out the occasional sweet potato, leaving out the daily butter and cheese, sour cream, cream cheese, lightening up on the heavy cream, and a couple other things that I allow, like dark chocolate occasionally or some honey, was challenging to me. But I did it, and I'm still alive. I will tell you, from whence I came, my belly is at least 40% flatter than when I began. No lie. As a 51-year-old woman, the cellulite on the back of my legs, which I will never show you until they're thin, or maybe never, is at least 30% down from when I began 2 weeks ago. You don't know you have inflammation, though, I must say, until it's gone. So I feel like I don't have any inflammation after 2 weeks of doing the lion diet. I think you should try it at least for a week and see how you feel. And I planned on doing a week, but I extended it another week, and I did it, and I'm proud of myself. So you guys can do it. Please use these tips I gave you today. Stick around for my truth bomb in 30 seconds. We want to thank you for listening to Black Eyed Soul. That's our band. Andrew and I record right here in this room in my home. Please go to blackeyedsoul.com or any streaming platform. Just add it to your cart on Amazon. So right now you might be wondering if I'm going to continue on the lion diet. I think I'm going to pivot this week to the B, and E diet that I've heard so much about, which is very, very similar in a lot of ways to the lion diet. It's basically strict carnivore. It's beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. So I think the little bit of butter in there and the eggs in particular and the bacon will help me feel a little bit more satiated. And my truth bomb today is, if you've not considered a low-carb diet, whether it be keto, carnivore, low carb itself, the lion diet, or triple B and E, which is bacon, butter, beef, and eggs, all of these will help you with your health, with balancing out the problems you may be having. If you're older like myself and female, things become a little trickier and you have to be creative when it comes to diets that you choose now which will be way different than diets you did in your 20s and 30s, for example. So use your feminine intuition today. Maybe give the Lion Diet a try to see what it's like. It will make you appreciate the butter and the eggs and a carnivore diet after this, and will make you feel proud of yourself. And when you see your stomach almost shrink in half and your cellulite be way less visible, you will be so happy you'll keep on going. Stick with me and I will help you along. Please comment in the comments any questions you may have, any experiences that'll help the rest of us, or if you've found any of this to be helpful today. And thank you for subscribing. We'll see you next time on Love Style. Peace out.